What's going on, everybody? Trev Wilson here. Welcome back to the Bourbon Ranch. Today, I am super friggin' excited. You wanna know why? I defended Jack Daniels and their whiskey fungus problem, and they delivered these lovely little samples. The Jack Daniels 10-year-old batch 2 and the Jack Daniels 12-year-old batch 1. We're gonna keep this super simple. We're just gonna get into these bad boys. I'm gonna let you know what I think of them and if you should just go join the frenzy of people hunting these suckers down. So let's get right into it. Jack Daniels 10-year batch 2. Probably should check for a little fungus. Mold. Jack Daniels, you know I'm on your side. We love the whiskey fungus. Jack Daniels 10-year. This is the second batch. They did this last year, which I didn't get, nor did I even try. So this is totally brand new to me. Coming in 97 proof, 48.5%. I've tried a little bit of it, but I wanted to let it open up a little bit, have some time with some air. I wanted to expose myself before it was just a total shock to me. Jack Daniels 10-year. All right, let's get right into it. On the nose, that's just sugar and vanilla and caramel and cinnamon and just everything good about Jack Daniels amplified. Kind of like a cinnamon graham cracker coming through. I don't know if they even make those, but that's what I would think they smell like. And a great level of oakiness, okay? It's like, it's there. Whereas I'm normally not, that's not a note that I'm just saying, wow, that's really jumping out of my Jack Daniels glass. It's usually not what I'm saying. This is. I'm getting some more red fruit characteristic versus the classic banana note that I usually get with Jack Daniels. I think it's just kind of subdued a little bit. I think the oak and all of that stuff's kind of blanketing it a little bit. It's just really inviting and saying, Trev, drink me and I will oblige. Okay. Interesting. That's pretty dang oaky for being 10. It's soft, it's delicate, but then again, oak. There's a lot of oak on that, huh? I go back to the nose, and the nose is indicating me a lot more of this sweetness and all of this other stuff, and then the palate's not really like that. Yeah, it's really not as sweet as I was anticipating it to be. It's also it's pretty tannic. Like, it's kind of drying on the tongue, okay? I wouldn't say bitter. It's not bitter oak, but it's pretty dang oaky. I feel like just a lot more of those leather, tobacco, oak, like wood notes are kind of showing up more on the palate versus the nose, which was sweeter, spicier. I'm in a baking shop. I think the fruity notes turn into like raisin, like dried fruit. So dark plum, dried raisins, like cranberries, a dried cranberry. The palate is just noticeably unique in that characteristic. I think the proof is decent. That's kind of in line with like a Jack Daniel's single barrel. It's kind of in that, mid 90 range. I think some people though might be like, ooh, that's either too oaky or I do not like the way it's making my tongue feel. I just gotta be straight up with you guys. That's kind of, it's pretty prominent. As for someone who likes Jack Daniels, I think this is a great kind of, hey, we're kind of over in this side of the field this time. Not normal of a Jack Daniels. It's kind of the darker side of things. You know what I'm saying? This is like Anakin Skywalker of Jack Daniels. Some people might not like him. Some people love him. Some people gonna kill this bottle like Anakin and the younglings. Final thoughts on the Jack 10. I think I like the nose better. I like that it had those sweeter, sugary notes, I guess. The palate. I'm not gonna lie. I think you need to realize that's the direction it is. That way you don't fall in the trap of I'm gonna spend $500 expecting one thing and then I get something else. Part 2 to that is I genuinely don't think you should spend $500 on or whatever, like 15 times MSRP. I think this, for me, is a great buy at whatever Jack Daniels is trying to sell it for secondary value. I don't think that's there. Me personally, I think for a lot of people, I think that's really good. But don't go do weird stuff for this, okay? Don't do it. So with that being said, let's move right into the Jack Daniel's 12-year batch 1. But first, let me tell you about the Bourbon Rich Patreon page real quick. Now is the perfect time to look into it, at least, because we are ramping up to put out the newest batch of Patreon rewards, to include coins, Kinseys, colored, Glencairns, all sorts of crazy glasses. And on top of that, if the rewards aren't cool enough, we are releasing tons of exclusive barrel picks, Doc Swinson's, a Bull Run, a 15-year-old Bull Run finished in Pinot, are you kidding me? Farm and Spirits, a 27-year-old Hazmat Canadian whiskey, just all sorts of crazy stuff dropping over there. So now's the perfect time. Go check it out. All right, commercial break's over. Jack Daniel's 12-year. That's what we want to know now. Now, with the 12-year, this one's coming in 107 proof, 53.5. This is batch 1. They've never done this before, and I think that's going to cause a lot of extra hype and mayhem behind this, is that it's the first time, you know, Jack Daniel's 12-year. So let me tell you, should you go join the horde? Considerably different on the nose. I think right off the rip, I love the 10 years nose. I love this nose even more. I'm getting just like butterscotch sweetness, like sugar. So butterscotch candy dropped in sugar, but then it's really balanced with oak, and it's not overbearing. I think the sweetness, like that sweet butterscotch and all of that stuff mixed with the oak, is just a flavor bomb. Like, honestly, on the nose alone, the tin smells older. I guess there's just more age, like more oak coming through that would allude to it being older. Kind of weird, but that's what's happening. I'm also liking that I'm getting more spiciness. I'm getting more of a cinnamon spice, almost like a cinnamon graham cracker thing jumping out of there. Spicy. I think the proof gain, definitely welcomed. It's definitely showing. All right, let's taste it. Oh yeah, that one. Let me get the negatives out of the way first before I start raving about it, because the negatives always just make it sound so much worse than it is. I will say it still definitely gives me that tannic thing going on. But let's face it, when I drink Jack Daniel's single barrel proof, it gives me kind of that tannic drying, it's like a red wine thing going on inside of my mouth. I'm getting that on this. It's definitely reminiscent in the single barrel in that regard. It kind of tastes like that. It tastes like an older version of what you can go buy on the shelf single barrel. I'm getting some of that dried raisin still, some of those dried fruits, so it's still sweet. It's sweeter than the 10-year. I guess that's where I'm going with this, is that it's kind of crazy that this one drinks, in terms of what you would expect, drinks less aged than the 10-year. And I say that in terms of the way the oak was portrayed in the 10-year just made it seem like it was older, whereas this one, I think it's not overly oaked. I think the 10, a little too oaky, and like comparatively, it's so complex, but it's not letting any one note overpower the other. And I think that's just a good sign of being really well put together. I think the flavors mingle together really well. It kind of just tastes special, if that makes sense. It tastes like a dang, this is what I want a 12-year-old Jack Daniel's to taste like. I'm getting that toasted barrel. I'm getting those barrel notes. I'm getting those dark cinnamons, the dark wood sugars. Okay, it's sweet. It's like confectionery sweetness with oakiness, with cinnamon. I will say I'm not getting a ton of the classic Jack Daniel's banana. Some of those fruity notes are there, but I think it's turning more from this ripe banana into more of the, fig, into the cranberry raisin territory. But they just work so well with the oak and the sugars and all that stuff. Really freaking good. I think the proof, again, It's totally welcomed. This is great. I like the little bit higher proof. It makes me feel like I have something a little more. Final thoughts on the 12, and then I'll wrap up both of them. I think the 12, personally, is definitely so much better. I love the 12. I think the nose and the palate is really just showcasing the power of Jack Daniels. Like, hey, here's a 12-year-old whiskey. Here you go. I hope that eventually this just becomes more of a staple. Like, why can't you just put out more of this? Because I still don't think that you should go and spend 15, 20 times the price on these bottles that I know they're gonna be fetching on secondary markets and crap. It's so unfortunate. You take other bottles that are on the shelf, like Knob Creek 12, it's age stated 12, it's $60 and relatively easy to get, easier than I imagine this is going to be. I hope that this can get there someday because it is really good, and compared to something like that, I think it fits. It needs that in the market. I think they're on a level of, hey, I'm really good and I'm fitting perfectly in this portfolio, maybe even above good. I'll give it that. This is above average good. At least this 12-year-old to me, this is above average. I think you should add it to your hunt list. Just like everyone else who's already hunting it. It's not like I'm telling you go hunt this and it's going to change anything. Everyone's going to be hunting for it. So just add that to your hunt list. And I think the 10, wrapping that one up, I think it's really good too. I just think you need to know going in that it's a little more oaky wood forward and a little more tannic. So let's wrap her up. That is the Jack Daniel's 10 and the 12. Loosely put, I think they're both recommends. You know, I don't know how easy these will be to get. Again, I didn't even see or try the batch 1 of the 10 years. So, like, you know, I don't have high hopes. I think they're going to be really hard to get, especially with the 12-year being a companion to the 10. It's just going to make it all that much harder. Thank you, Jack Daniels, for entrusting me with these samples and with no strings attached. They didn't even tell me to do anything. I'm just giving them their raw, honest opinion of moi. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. Go comment down below if you're excited about these, what you're looking forward to. Can you find these? Are you gonna be looking for them? Are you gonna see me out there hunting? Probably. Go get in line, everyone. Go look for these bottles. Let me know if you find them, when you try them. Let me know what you personally think of them compared to what I had to say. Because again, at the end of the day, I'm just a dude who drinks whiskey in my room. Alone. I'm Trev Wilson. I will see you guys in the next video.